Steering broke. Put it in reverse.
I'm Taryn, this is Logan, and this is Max. Join us as we live and sail in the Pacific Northwest on our 40-foot steel sailboat. We're heading down on our way out the rest of Johnstone Strait and hopefully towards Campbell River. We were going to head to Powell River, but it's a couple more days to get there probably than it is to just go to Campbell River and reprovision, and we wasted extra time that we didn't want to waiting for weather. Yeah, that's our plan. We're going to try to head directly down the strait, and if the weather picks up we'll tuck in somewhere, but this stretch shouldn't be as bad as the bit that we were worried about yesterday. The weather's not supposed to really pick up until the afternoon, and we should be into safer area by that time, so I think we're feeling good about it. We're excited to be moving and to be heading towards reprovisioning because we're almost out of dog food, pretty much run out of veggies again, and we haven't showered in a while, so it'll be nice to be back to those things in civilization, although it's going to be kind of disappointing to be back in the Salish Sea and back to where there is so much civilization and it's harder to forage for our own food and stuff. Also, staying at Helmkin Island there was pretty awesome. The holding was really good, but it is a pain in the butt getting in there because there is so much kelp. It's pretty crazy how much kelp there is. It's like a very, very narrow channel getting through the kelp, and then even when you're through the kelp, there's more kelp and more kelp. So if you look on the chart, it kind of looks like you can go through two ways to get into the Billy Goat Bay anchorage, but you really want to go through the deeper one because the shallower one is just completely full of kelp because the current runs so well in there that it feeds it really well. So that's cool, but not so cool when you're on a boat trying to get into an anchorage. So just keep that in mind if you come in here. There was only about 3 knots of wind that morning to accompany the low-lying clouds, but soon we had enough wind to pull out our head sail. Motor sailing.
We are motor sailing against the current.
What's our speed right now?
4.7.
We got like 6 knots of wind. We motor sailed all the way to Discovery Pass, where we arrived much earlier than expected. Well, we officially made it all the way through Johnstone Strait. It took us 3 days, but we did it. So now we're just heading back down Discovery Passage, which leads us to Campbell River and Seymour Narrows. We're going to be very early for Seymour Narrows, so we're going to have to anchor somewhere and wait for a few hours and then keep going.
We saw orcas, and obviously there's fish down this way, so we might throw out a line. Because we're pretty much just drifting along with a light bit of wind and some current. Yeah. But we're sailing.
We're sailing.
We got lots of time, and it's not blowing a gale, so it's nice.
We sailed our way down Discovery Passage until we made it to a bay where we could both fish and anchor until slack current made it safe for us to go through Seymour Narrows. But our good luck was about to take a turn. I'm not going towards the shore. I'm steering this way as much as I can. Yeah, so...
Did you break? Did it? Do we have... No, it broke, Taryn. It broke.
The steerage broke?
Steering broke. Put it in reverse.
How do we get the emergency tiller?
Just need to keep it off the cliff. That's all you need to do.
That's right. Just feet from a lee shore and with a salmon on the line, we completely lost our steering. So with a fish on the line and no steering, I attempted to maneuver us away from the cliff. I can honestly say this is the first time I was thankful for our prop walk, which never lets us go in a straight line while in reverse.
Okay, can you wrap this around that winch quick? Okay. Take this winch handle and winch over. Hold it.
We hooked up our emergency steering, which is essentially a piece of line that runs from the tiller arm to each of the winches. This is us attempting to pull the rudder over with our emergency tiller. But of course the rudder was jammed over to one side and we couldn't get it to turn with the emergency steering.
Oh, mayday? Oh, put it in reverse. In reverse. Just keep it loose. All we gotta do is keep us off that cliff for now. How are we looking?
Should I go back around the other way? Should I put it forward?
Okay, hang on. Okay, can you loosen that line on that winch? Just pull it and loosen it a bit. I don't know what's f***ing jammed. Shit. How are we doing?
Fine. How's that going?
Oh. Good. Okay, tighten that winch up. My f***ing face.
Hit your face?
Yes, I hit my face. Let your winch off. Okay, oh, not all the way. You see how we have to keep it tight? Otherwise it's just gonna go loose on its own.
Forward right now? Is that what we're doing?
We're going straight forward. We're turning a little bit my way, or that way. We'll go and we'll drop our anchor. Okay. Can we steer a little bit more my way? So let yours out a touch. Or sorry, no. Crank yours in. A little bit more. Yep, that's great. Hold it there. If you can just... Here, I got it. I'm going to steer us into the anchorage, and we'll drop our hook, and I'll get that fucking thing fixed.
You know what it is?
Yes. An arm fell off underneath.
Alive.
Yep. Wow. wild.
Seriously.
Sorry. You okay?
Yeah, fine.
Oh. I'm really trying. There you go. Get him. Oh.
Oh my god.
That is the most stressful fish I've ever caught in my life. You want to put out some more? I'm gonna back down on it. Or try to.
Once anchored, we got to work with the fun job of fixing what had fallen apart on us. That arm right there had dislocated itself, completely disconnecting our steering. But luckily, Logan knew what was going on and managed to fix it for us while at anchor. What the hell just happened?
So we have rack and pinion steering. And where the rack and pinion meet, there's basically a round gear that's got a bunch of teeth in it like this. It's got rack and pinion, and the one gear disengaged from the other gear because it was at its stop. Mostly my fault. I shortened up the steering arm too much to keep it from binding until we can get the boat out for a refit, because I have to cut the cockpit drain out to make it all work. Everything is binding right now because it's trying to go through this slot that's too narrow, and the cockpit drain runs like right through where the arm needs to go for our steering. So I had it so that it was only binding a little bit, but it actually caused the gear internal in there to pop out, and then it bound up and I couldn't get it back together, so I had to, while we were getting closer and closer to the cliff and our steering was locked at full turn, I had to pop the steering arm off of the tiller end, like off of the steering shaft, and hook up our emergency tiller, and then we were able to steer again, sort of.
Sort of, yeah. It was pretty damn hard.
Yeah.
Not quick response that way.
It's difficult. It's all stuff that is on our list of stuff that needs to be taken care of. But it's just like it needs cutting and welding and fabricating and aluminum work, which I don't have the tooling for, so I'm probably going to have to farm that stuff out. And it's going to be a huge expense. So we're just trying to do it properly when the time comes. And it's nice to know that it works, so we can get ourselves out of a bind like we did today.
By it, you mean the emergency tiller?
Yes, the emergency steering works, and it's not that bad. It could be refined a little bit, for sure, but it's really not that bad. And then I've adjusted the arm back to the length that it was before I started messing with things, so I know now, and we've just tested it now at full lock. When you pull the rudder over to the stops, it can't pop out anymore. So lesson learned. That was a stressful one.
Was that ever? Holy crap.
Yeah, with a fish on too. Like we were just trying to net the fish and it popped out. Like as Taryn was helping me net the fish, popped out.
Anyway, we were sure that we'd have lost that fish, but luckily it was still alive when we pulled it in, and we did get it, so yeah. Anyway, we got a pink salmon for dinner. That was a very, very, very stressful fish. We somehow managed to have the entire misadventure before the current switched to slack, and we were able to safely leave and make it through Seymour Narrows into Gallant Harbor.
Well, we have steering. It binds a lot more because it's hitting everything now, but it works, so beggars can't be choosers.
We weren't sure if we would make it to Campbell River that day, and by the time we knew, the marina was closed and I couldn't book us in. So instead we headed to Gallant Harbor on Quadra Island for the night. Well, we made it. We're in Gallant Harbor. We're anchored. It's actually super calm here, which is also awesome. And we are safe and sound now, so what a relief to finally be here. It took us 3 days to get through Johnstone Strait. We freaking lost our steering. What the hell? But we're here. We're safe. The steering's working again, still working. Tomorrow we're gonna try to get into Campbell River, clean up, reprovision, and then I think we're heading to the Sunshine Coast. Thanks for sticking with us through this crazy last 2 months. It's been an awesome ride. It's really surreal actually to kind of be back in civilization after that awesome adventure. What an amazing spot the Broughtons are. Like, holy crap. Can't wait to go back. The Victory salmon that night tasted amazing, and we were so thankful to be somewhere safe with this nourishing food to ground us back to our home. On the next day that weather would allow, we left Gallant Harbor and headed to Campbell River. Well, just like that, we're back in civilization. Crazy. Just over 2 months without any town bigger than Port McNeill. So now we gotta go do all the grown-up chores and check in and all that nonsense. And it is packed and super busy in here. It's crazy. But yeah. Anyway, that's it for this one. See you guys next week. Join us next week when we spend a rocky day and night at anchor and pull up a fish net before heading to some warmer waters. Thanks so much for watching and being a part of this adventure with us. If you want to see what we're up to in real time, you can join us over on our Patreon for as little as $1 a month.